Hi there, Nate. Long time no see. I've managed to watch your video response all the way through a couple of times, but it's now set to private, so this response is from memory. So I may have omitted or possibly misunderstood a couple of your points. I think you were asking whether this piece is melancholic, or maybe you just said that, and maybe that's true. Though in this case I'd call it soporific, given the subject matter. It's a multi-purpose piece about the River Leith and its memory cleansing features on one level, but also about the mainstream media and its propensity for deception, brainwashing and desensitizing, all in the name of profit. You described this as semi-active ambient, which I think seems to hit the nail on the head, and I might come back to that later. You asked, do I get a sense of elation from listening to music? That's sort of difficult. I think the music that I make doesn't have any real links to what I listen to either. It's kind of sort of an outlier. I listen to a lot of prog rock and not much pop music really. A little bit of jazz and some classical, and certainly some classical pieces do leave me feeling elated. Although I tend to listen to classical and orchestral music quite infrequently recently. I just don't seem to get much time for it. You were talking about Absynth 5. Well, yeah, I bought that in 2017, but I only started using it about 18 months ago. There's certainly a lot of depth in there, and I haven't really scratched the surface of it yet, but it's a pretty amazing piece of software, and I don't really see much else on the market that's anything like it. It's unique. I've got to say that I really like a lot of the sounds. I mean, there's so many presets, if you like, in there, and they're just great places to start tweaking from. But yeah, it is a great piece of software, I think. NI sort of shot themselves in the foot by discontinuing that. You talked about mystery in music. I like to add a bit of dissonance to my tracks from time to time, because it can create some unexpected harmonic interest that takes the music away from the mainstream, if you like, and just it's more satisfying to do things that way. Drums. I occasionally put some percussion or maybe even some drums onto an ambient track. Not that often, but I've been known to do it. In fact, I've got a track that I've just finished putting together that's got it's about 5.5-6 minutes long, and it would be ambient, except there's this percussive, really heavy drum beat that just sort of breaks into it about halfway through, which is another sort of curveball, but yeah. I do use drums much more frequently in my non-ambient pieces, but then I'm not making that many of those these days, so yeah, percussion's something that I used to use a lot, but I find myself using it less and less frequently these days. If we go back to your statement, semi-active ambient, I mean, it was Eno that defined ambient music way back, I don't know, in the mid-70s. And I've got a bit of a problem with it because of this. The act of defining it seems to have locked it down to this usage where it can be ignored or listened to. Yeah, that's just not. I don't play music to ignore it. I like to listen to stuff. So although I like some of Eno's stuff, it's on a I'm listening to it. I'm not just putting stuff on in the background. I just don't see the need for that. So when I put some music on, I'll tend to listen to it, and a lot of Eno's stuff is very listenable, even though it may be considered fairly repetitive. Let's not forget that ambient music was around for a while before Brian Eno came along, but it just maybe wasn't called that. I don't know. Now those constraints have been applied, it just sounds like a lot of music suddenly become orphaned, perhaps, or possibly indescribable. Did he create that definition purely just to describe his own music? And does that use of the word ignorable actually turn many listeners off? I mean, a lot of my stuff, I describe it as ambient, and it doesn't quite fit that definition, but I can't think of any other categorisation. Electronic doesn't mean anything these days. It's just like a blanket term, and it doesn't tell you. I mean, somebody makes an electronic album, it could be anything. It could be drum and bass, it could be dubstep, or it could be ambient. So you're not going to get a clue as to what kind of music you're going to be listening to if you haven't heard it before and it's just been described as electronic. It's not a very helpful categorization. Maybe we need to have a new term to define music that could incorporate Eno's ambient usage under its umbrella while managing to encompass newer forms, whether melodic, harmonic, rhythmic, whatever. How about ambient plus plus? Only because I've got a programming background and that's kind of helping me out. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here because I'm off to bed in a minute. It's getting late. I managed to keep this to about 10 minutes as well, which is not bad. So, but yeah, I'll stick this up on the YouTube and put it in the KVR thread tomorrow morning. I shall talk to you later.